Simpson pulling it down. Punched up by Simpson.
He never chased noise, but he became the calm in the storm. Ronnie Simpson wasn't built on flash or flare, he was built on decisions, angles, presence. While others posed for the cameras, he stood still, waited, and saved. They called him the Father, not just for his age, but for his calm, his wisdom. A man who saw the game one step ahead and never shouted to be heard. He was the goalkeeper who smiled under pressure, the voice of trust behind Celtic's greatest team, the last man back, and often the first to lift his teammates. He played without gloves, he laughed before finals, and in the chaos of Lisbon, he remained exactly who he'd always been. Ronnie Simpson, the goalkeeper who made stillness heroic, and became immortal by never asking for it. Subscribe if you still believe football's greatest men are the ones who never had to raise their voice. Ronnie Simpson was born on the 11th of October 1930 in the shadowed streets of Glasgow, where dreams were small, and life taught you to fight early. He was selected by Queen's Park's first team in 1945 at just 14 years and 304 days, and made his first Scottish League appearance the following August at 15. In 1948, at just 17, he represented Great Britain at the London Olympics, where the team reached the semi-finals but finished fourth after losing a bronze medal playoff to Denmark. In 1950, he joined 3rd Lanark, where the stadiums were louder, the boots hit harder, and still, Ronnie never blinked. Then came the call that changed everything. In 1951, he crossed the border, signed by Newcastle United, for a fee reported as £8,750. The Scots called him promising. The English soon called him something else, the Cat. Fast hands, silent feet, and courage stitched into every dive. He wasn't just surviving now, he was about to conquer Wembley. Ronnie Simpson didn't just move to England, he made it his proving ground. By the 1951-52 season, he became Newcastle United's quiet revolution. No headlines, no swagger, just clean saves and calm control. In 1952, he played in the FA Cup final at Wembley against Arsenal. Newcastle won 1-0, and Simpson walked off with his first FA Cup winner's medal. 3 years later, in 1955, he did it again against Manchester City, winning 3-1. By the mid-50s, he had become a fixture, a reliable wall between the sticks. But behind the saves, injuries mounted, new faces arrived, and by 1960, Ronnie's time at Newcastle had run its course. Simpson brought silence to chaos. His gloves spoke more than the defenders in front of him. No barking orders, no wild theatrics, just presence, stillness, authority. He became the spine of a side searching for itself, anchoring them through European nights and domestic battles that demanded grit. In 1961, Hibs stunned the continent by defeating Barcelona 7-6 on aggregate in the Intercities Fairs Cup. It was one of the great Scottish results abroad, and Simpson, as always, was the steady force behind the miracle. But this chapter wasn't about glory, it was about resilience. A man rebuilding brick by brick, quietly reminding Scotland he was still among the best. By 1964, Ronnie was 33. Most keepers were retiring. He was still evolving, but even he couldn't predict what came next. In 1964, Celtic needed a man between the posts, not just to stop goals, but to build belief. It wasn't a glamorous signing. Some thought Simpson was past it. Too old, too quiet. Ronnie arrived at Parkhead with little fanfare. He wasn't there to make noise. He was there to bring calm to a squad bursting with youth but lacking composure. And from the moment he pulled on the green jersey, something shifted. The defense trusted him. The crowd relaxed. And Jock Stein, the great architect, finally had his foundation. No more doubts, no more drifting. Just a keeper who turned every cross into calm and every moment of danger into silence. In a club hungry to rise again, Ronnie Simpson became the breath before every roar. And the best was still ahead. Before they became Lions, they were just kids with fire in their boots. And Ronnie Simpson, he was the fireman. From 1965, Jock Stein began shaping something rare. A Celtic side not just to compete, but to conquer. They were young, local, fearless, but they needed someone behind them who didn't flinch. Ronnie became the anchor. By the end of the 1965-66 season, they were more than hopeful. They were dangerous. Celtic won the league, and the pieces were finally aligned. The next campaign, 1966-67, would become the stuff of legend. But it began with one unshakable truth. If Celtic were going to roar, they needed Ronnie Simpson to stand. Not just in the goal, but in the soul of the team. In May 1967, Celtic stepped onto the grass in Lisbon. 11 Scots, born within 30 miles of Parkhead. No foreign stars, no million-pound signings, just pride, discipline, and belief. Facing them, Inter Milan, defensive masters, European champions, legends of the Catenaccio Wall. Most pundits gave Celtic no chance. But Ronnie Simpson, he didn't do nerves. He did clean sheets. That same season, Ronnie earned his first cap for Scotland on the 15th of April 1967, debuting at Wembley in a famous 3-2 victory over world champions England. At 36 years and 196 days old, he became the oldest player ever to make a debut for Scotland, going on to earn 5 international caps between 1967 and 1968. He commanded the box like it was sacred ground. Inter's attacks broke on his gloves, his throws launched the counter, his calm gave courage, and when Gemmell and Chalmers hit the net, it wasn't just Celtic who erupted, it was Scotland. Ronnie didn't celebrate wildly. He just smiled, raised his arms, and embraced his teammates like a father watching his sons grow into giants. That night, they became legends. The first British club to lift the European Cup. But for Ronnie, it was something even more rare. A lifetime of sweat, setbacks, and silent service, finally crowned in full light. From Newcastle exile to Scottish hero. From forgotten backup to eternal lion. Lisbon didn't make Ronnie Simpson. It revealed what had always been there. After Lisbon, Ronnie Simpson could have rested. But he kept playing, not for glory, but for Celtic. For the badge, for the lads, for the game. He helped secure a second consecutive league title in 1968, and Celtic marched forward with their Lions still in goal. But even legends aren't immune to time. In 1969, he suffered a dislocated shoulder in a match leading to recurring issues. He retired in 1970. No rage, no bitterness, just grace. He briefly managed Hamilton Academical from 1971 to 1972. Beyond the pitch, Ronnie served as a Progressives councillor on Edinburgh City Council in the 1970s and was a member of the Pools panel, helping adjudicate postponed match results during bad weather. No farewell match. No goodbye from the terraces, just silence. But Simpson never asked for ceremony. By then, his legacy was written in marble. He left Celtic with 188 appearances, 118 league, countless clean sheets, and a place in the hearts of every supporter who watched him guard the net like a priest guards a sacred flame. In 1967, he was named the SFWA Footballer of the Year, a rare honor for a keeper. But by 1969, his boots were quietly hung up, because Ronnie Simpson never believed he was owed anything. He had already been given more than most, and gave back double. After his retirement, Ronnie Simpson remained close to football. He coached, scouted, and shared his wisdom with the next generation. Never chasing the spotlight, always giving, always steady. Just as he had done between the posts. Named in Celtic's greatest team, 2002. In later life, illness slowed him down. And on the 19th of April, 2004, at the age of 73, Ronnie suffered a heart attack in Edinburgh. A gentle life ended suddenly. Celtic Park fell silent. Flags flew at half-mast, and the tributes spoke louder than any cheer. Billy McNeil, captain of the Lisbon Lions, said, "Ronnie was as much a footballer as he was a goalkeeper. Anything that went in behind us, Ronnie would come out and do something about it." And though he never asked for recognition, it finally came. In 2011, Ronnie Simpson was posthumously inducted into the Scottish Football Hall of Fame, his name carved alongside Scotland's eternal legends. No statue stands in his image, but maybe that is fitting, because Ronnie never needed stone or bronze to be remembered. He had Lisbon, he had Wembley, He had the quiet respect of every man who played beside him. Ronnie Simpson, the goalkeeper who turned stillness into strength and carried Celtic into immortality with a smile. Subscribe if you believe football's greatest men aren't the ones who shouted loudest, but the ones who earned eternity in silence.